Hey everybody, anybody out there, greetings. Welcome back to some more live coding. Today we're going to be doing some more Django. So yeah, last night we spent several hours working on a Django application. And in our Django application, we set up some custom authentication. So this is the repository that we ended with last night. And so we pushed this Django auth example, and it has some basic authentication. You know, you can register, log in, log out, reset password. You can do the forgot password. You can change your password when you're logged in. It restricts pages when you're logged out, and we started looking into the social authentication. That is the OAuth2 authentication. And so the goal was to let people log in with other services. So, you know, you see the log in with Google, log in with Google. You can do anything that provides OAuth2, you can do one of the login with. So you can do it with Google and Facebook and Twitter. You can also do it with DigitalOcean, and I think even Linode and Bitbucket support it too. Discord. There's several. There's lots and lots of ones that support it. So what we wanted to do was allow login with Discord. So people who already have a Discord account can log into your application without having to create a separate account and manage that and deal with that. They just use Discord to provide the authentication. And that's where we left off. We started looking into that, and I found some good resources. And today what we're going to try and do is clean up the application and take care of some of the to-do items, clean it up. One thing I wanted to do is separate the authentication and the registration, and I'll explain a little bit more why I want to do that. But right now, let's go back to this article. So I want to cover we're gonna have to, because this OAuth2 is really complicated, but at the same time it's really simple. But there's a lot of little things that you can get hooked up on. I've done it once before, but it's kind of tricky. So I want to go through it and make sure we do it right, and we're going to get it all working. And then hopefully we'll have time to also set it up specifically as a Django backend, so we can easily turn it on and off, plug it in, and add other services. Like if we want to duplicate it and also allow GitHub login. We want to do Discord, log in with Discord and log in with GitHub, and we want to be able to swap it and use it for other ones too. So that's the goal. But just to make sure we get the OAuth working and understand that it's working and everything, we may just use a simple Flask App, because we need to have a public URL to do the callback. And we'll talk about the callback, I guess, in a second, because I'm going to go through, and I know Discord actually has some documentation on it, because they do provide it and they use it. They've got some help documents here. So I think we'll start there. And actually, in the research that we did yesterday, we had we found an OAuth library for Python that looked good. It was built on top of requests, which is a really good library. So it was requests OAuth. Yeah, here it is. Requests-OAuth live, OAuth for humans. And this is the library that I found that looks the best. We looked up Django-specific social login plugins, like modules that are built for Django that allow, login with Discord and this and that. And they looked stale. They looked like they were out of date, and some of them even said by the author specifically, these are deprecated, don't use them. So we're going to build it ourselves, which is okay, because I'd rather have since we're building a little framework to use, I'd like to have more control over it. And so This library here requests OAuth for humans, requests OAuth lib, uses the Python requests and OAuth lib libraries to provide an easy-to-use Python interface for building OAuth1 and OAuth2 clients. Overview. A simple Flask application which connects to the GitHub OAuth2 API looks approximately like this. And this whole thing here is a web app. That's a Flask web app. If you've never seen Flask, it's very minimal. And all you do is tag on one of these decorators, and then you give it the route. Oh, let me make this bigger. I wish I could default. Let me see if I can do that. Can you default the text size? Can I just default it to 30% zoom? And I don't want... Let's see. I don't want just the Firefox font size. I want all the font size. Well, this is working right now. Okay, so here's the app. Let's copy that and keep reading, but I'm going to paste it into an editor in a second. So the above is a truncated example. A full working example is available here. Okay, so I'm going to open that in another tab. Request OAuth lib can be installed with pip. Okay, so I want to actually... This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to SSH into the Minecraft server. By the way, we have a Minecraft server. It's minecraft.devdungeon.com. We did some streams where we set it up and wrote some plugins, so go there and play if you like, if you play Minecraft. Okay, so we are on the remote server, and so the other day we wrote a Minecraft bot, a Discord bot that notifies on Minecraft events, so that's what some of this other stuff is. But we're going to need a public server because there has to be a callback URL for OAuth that can be reached. So I'm just going to set it up on this server, and I'm going to do make dir OAuth test. This is just going to be a quick example. Let's see if we can get it working. Oh yeah, so let's go ahead and create a virtual environment. Python 3-m VM. Oh. Sudo apt install Python 3-venv. Yes. Wait patiently. Control P, Control P, Control N. There we go. Hey Mythic. Man, you joined like every stream, at least to come by and say hello. That's really awesome. We're just hanging out and doing some Python and Django. I'm going to be doing some social integration to web applications. Because we do so much hanging out on Discord, I figured it would be cool to, like, maybe for the Minecraft site, have Discord login, so you can log in and do stuff and post and have it tied to your Discord identity without having to create a new account and all that. And then also, just for any other web applications, I figured it would be useful, and it'd be a good reference because you can swap it out for GitHub, Bitbucket, and all of a bunch of other cool ones. So let's activate this VM, and let's pip install, what was it? Requests _ OAuth lib. And let's go with OAuth. Oh, look at all these examples they have. They've got a whole bunch of them. No Discord, but they should be pretty much the same. Like if we open a couple of these OAuth, oh look, LinkedIn. Yeah, a lot of providers are starting to provide this OAuth. GitHub, Google, Facebook, Bitbucket, Fitbit, LinkedIn. Let's see if we just do a quick look up OAuth2 auth providers. Let's see if we can find a list. Maybe we try popular OAuth. List of OAuth providers. This is, okay, AOL, Autodesk, Basecamp, Battle.net. That's kind of cool if you're doing some gaming stuff. Bitly, Box could be useful. DeviantArt, Dropbox, Etsy, Evernote, Facebook, Fitbit, Flickr, FormStack, Foursquare, GitHub, Goodreads. That's like a book. It's like a social reading site. I like that site actually. You can list books you want to read. You can review books. You can see what your friends are reading. And it ties into Amazon and Kindle and Audible and all that. Anyway, Imgur. You can log in with Imgur. LinkedIn, Microsoft, MySpace. Awesome. Netflix offers it. PayPal. Log in with PayPal. Could be useful. Log in with Stripe. Twitch login could be cool too. A lot of people that hang out on Discord are gamers, so Twitch login. VK. Vimeo, WordPress, WooCommerce, Yandex, Yelp, Zendesk. By the way, CodeBullet is hosting a Shoutout Session. I don't know what that is. Shoutout Session. I'm not too worried about like trying to shout it out and get all the people here because this isn't the most interesting stuff in the world, but it's just cool to hang out. It depends what the audience is. I mean, if they are interested in this kind of stuff, then maybe that'd be cool. Anyway, so let's see. We've got examples. Let's start with, oh, there's so many tabs now. Let's just go look at these code examples real quick. So what I wanted to see is if they were really any different, and they shouldn't be. And I can't tell if this music is too loud or not. If the music's too loud, just let me know. So, LinkedIn OAuth2 session. Create a new OAuth2 session, and you pass it the client ID and the redirect URI. Okay, so that's all pretty straightforward there. Yeah, Mythic. I mean, if you're in there and you know the guy or something, I mean, I wouldn't mind. So, you create an OAuth2 session, that's cool, that's straightforward. Authorization URL, and the state. I think that was the big piece that I left out last night when I was trying to rush through it. You do the state before you go off. And then there's the authorization URL, and then there's the token URL. Okay, so that looks... Yeah, see, these all look the same to me. GitHub one, let's see, okay, create a new OAuth session, get the authorization URL and state, redirect them, fetch token, get, yeah. Oh, I guess the big difference is whatever you get back, because the different providers are going to give you back different information. They don't always provide the same information, or necessarily, I think, even in the same format. And then once you're logged in and you have the credential that the user has basically granted you, you use that to go hit endpoints at the service. And so Discord has an endpoint that you hit, and you hit it with the token that the user granted you, and then you can pull certain information. But you know, let's do this. Let's try one that they provide. So let's try the GitHub one. What is OAuth2 workflow? So let's read through this real quick because I want to make sure we have a solid understanding before we go start shooting in the dark again. You like my new headphones? Yeah. So FaceRake is pretty cool. You can attach props and do all kinds of stuff. So check this out. Like, I can change my avatar. I can change my avatar. I can change the background too. Like, I can show you guys the apartment bedroom. Hey, what else? I can cast from the gates of hell. You can change the avatar too. There's all kinds of avatars, but the panda one kind of looks the best. I like him. But there's a green screen one too, so I'm just using the green screen. Okay, so OAuth2 workflow. introduction, available workflows, web application workflow, and then other ones. So let's start with the introduction, and then we'll read the web application flow. Those are the only two that we're really interested in. The following section provides some code examples that demonstrate some of the possible OAuth flows. Okay, so yeah, there's different workflows, but there's only one we're interested in, and that's called the authorization code grant. And yeah, they even specify that is the one you want if you're doing web application flow. OAuth2 flows you can use with the requests OAuth. We provide 4 examples, one for each type of grant type. Okay, so yeah, we just want this authorization code, and then we want to read this web application flow. That's the one we're interested in. The steps below outline how to use the default authorization grant flow to obtain an access token and fetch a protected resource. In this example, the provider is Google, and the protected resource is the user's profile. Okay, so client ID and secret and redirect URI, those are all basic elements that we get from the provider. So if we go to the Discord developer portal and I pull up my application, and in fact you can see here under general information you've got the client ID and the client secret, which you should keep secret, and then you've got the OAuth section. And so this is where you would add a redirect, something like ideally HTTPS, but we're gonna be cheating. HTTP minecraft.devdungeon.com, and I'm gonna do like port 8000 and like this. So we'll use that as our redirect URL. So, oh, you know what? I wasn't even in full screen mode. Now I'm in full screen mode. We got an extra inch of space now. So that's gonna be our URL, and I'm gonna paste it here just to have it handy. Okay, and then Computers with Nikita, welcome back, asks, what is your favorite browser? Well, I like Firefox. I like Chrome. They're both pretty good. I like Firefox a little bit more just because it's more of an independent entity that controls it, and it's more open source. The Chromium browser is nice because it's the open source piece that runs Chrome. It's just without all the branding and all the Google add-ons. So Chromium is cool, Firefox is cool. Those are probably the ones I'd recommend. But if you use Google stuff and you like the Google integration, Chrome's really good. It has nice password syncing and stuff like that. So here we're trying to generate the OAuth URL, and we give it scopes like we just want to be able to identify and get the person's email. And it generates this long URL, and you can just say copy, and we'll say OAuth URL. Okay. So we'll save that info for now. Oh, save changes. Is that what I keep forgetting to do? Okay, so let's go back to the instructions we were looking at. So I just wanted to show you that where you get your client ID, your client secret, and your redirect URI. Each one is going to be different, and for every provider that you want to use, like if you want to use login with GitHub, login with Google, login with Facebook, you have to have an account there, and you have to go create an app just like this. So in GitHub, you have to go to your settings and then go to your apps and create an app and then get your client ID and all that. So you have to do that for each service. And we're going to try and just do it with Discord. Okay, so obtain your credentials from your OAuth provider manually, and I just showed how to do that. At minimum, you'll need a client ID, but likely also a client secret, and we showed how to get that. During this process, you might also be required to register a default redirect URI to be used by your application. And we did that too. That's what we did here with this redirect URL. And back to this. Okay, so we're done with step 0. We can go to step 1. We're making awesome progress. User authorization through redirection. First, we will create an authorization URL from the base URL given by the provider. And that's the long URL that they gave us, I think. Okay, sorry. First, we will create an authorization URL from the base URL given by the provider and the credentials previously obtained, our client ID and secret. In addition, most providers will request that you ask for access to a certain scope. And the reason they do that is for security and cross-site request forgeries, CSRFs, and the Discord documentation on OAuth goes a little bit more into depth on that, so we'll read through that in a second. In this example, we will ask for Google for access to the email address of the user. Okay. So scope is going to be different for each provider, so our scope values will be different for Discord, but the way that it opens up should be the same. Okay, then we're going to create an OAuth2 session class and just pass it in our credentials and our scope. And then we're going to use that object to get the authorization URL. No. We're going to pass it an authorization URL and get the authorization URL and the state back. Okay, and then so we're just reading through this. Fetch an access token from the provider using the authorization code. Yeah, so the workflow is they go to the link and they click and it says, hey, this is Discord. Do you trust this application to look up your email address? And the user says yes. When they say yes, Discord or the authentication provider will then send a code to the redirect URI that we specified in our app. In our case, this Minecraft URL. Then we'll have a server there listening, and it's going to pick up that code. It's going to say, oh, sweet, I got a code. And then you have to send it back to Discord and say, hey, I got this code, and it's going to send you back another token that you can start using. That's how the workflow works, unless I'm mistaken. But it's been a while since I did this. That's why we're reading through this together. Okay, so then and then once you get your token, then you can start accessing the endpoints. Okay. So we're done reading through the docs that they have here from the requests OAuth library. And now I want to go look at I'm gonna bookmark this page though. This page here is a full working OAuth2 web app example. And it's for GitHub. Penetration testing, bug hunting. I guess you're just asking about my thoughts on it. I think bug bounties are really cool. Yeah, most of my experience is in web applications. That's probably where I have most of the professional, or is this channel moving more into development? It's a combination of both. I do application security as a job professionally. My background's in development, and now I do application security and a lot of just general security engineering, a lot of automation and stuff. So my interest lies in both. I started doing a lot of the programming stuff first because I wanted to build tutorials that people could have a baseline for. Like, I didn't want to jump right into the advanced stuff and be like, this is how you do packet capturing. I mean, I have a lot of packet capturing and security stuff, and I wrote the security book, so I definitely have an interest there. But Yeah, I do want to do more security stuff. I was considering doing something like making a damn vulnerable web app and kind of working through and working all 10 of the OWASP top 10 into it. But yeah, so I wrote this security with Go book, and that's about InfoSec stuff, and I'm definitely into it. I've been to a few DEF CONs and B-sides. Okay, so I don't want to build this one yet. I want to go to the Discord OAuth documentation. And I want to read through that one because they've got some good information too. OAuth 2 enables application developers to build applications that utilize authentication and data from the Discord API. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to be using the Discord API to get information. But we're basically going to be using the Discord API with the token that was granted to us by the user. So the user is going to be like, okay, here, I will let you use this API key, but all it can do is look up my email address, but knock yourself out. And we're going to use that just to validate who the user is. Within Discord, there are multiple types of OAuth 2 authentication. We support the authorization code grant, blah, blah, blah. And we already know the only one we're interested in is the authorization code grant, which is the workflow for web apps. Share resources. The first step in implementing OAuth 2 is registering a developer application, and that leads you to the applications page where we already have one, and we could just create another one, but we've got this one to test with. So we've done that, and retrieve your client ID in secret. Most people who will be implementing OAuth 2 will want to find and utilize a library in the language of their choice, and we did that with the requests OAuth library. For those implementing OAuth 2 from scratch, please see RFC 6749, and I'm just curious when that came out. October 2012. So the RFC for OAuth 2 came out in 2012. And it looks like it was by Microsoft. At least this guy worked for Microsoft. That's interesting. I didn't know Microsoft had such a heavy hand involvement in it. We're not going to go through that. That's definitely not in the scope for right now. After you create your application with Discord, make sure that you have your client ID and client secret handy. The next step is to figure out which OAuth 2 workflow is right for you, and we did that. Okay, and here's the 3 URLs. There's the authorize, the token, and the token revoke. In accordance with RFC 6749, the token URL only accepts the content type of xwww form URL encoded. JSON content is not permitted and will return an error. Okay, so that means all the data has to be URL encoded, which basically means the ampersand to tag variables together, and like this, this equals X and that equals Y, with the %20 and all that. OAuth 2 scopes, all we want is email and or identify, and these are the 2 endpoints that we can hit. And they're the exact same one, the only difference is whether it returns an email. So if I open that in a new tab, it gives us the information about that endpoint specifically. So if we were to hit that endpoint with the token provided by the user in Discord, we would get back information about the user object, returns the user object of the requester's account. For OAuth 2, this requires the identify scope, which will return an object without an email, and optionally the email scope, which will return the same thing with the email object. And if we click on the user link, it shows us the object structure. So if we'll have access to the user that has username and verified, whether the email's verified, that's good. That's one we want for sure. We want to know if the user's email's been verified and the email. Okay, so we can close out of that tab. We can continue reading here. So we know the only 2 scopes we want are email and identify. For now, you could allow the app to do other things. If you grant it other scopes like guilds join, or message read, then the app could read your messages or join guilds on your behalf and do kind of things for you. So when you log in with Discord, you want to make sure that you're only granting it and it only asks for things that it should be asking for. So state and security. So this is the important part that I left out last time when I was trying to rush through it. State and security. Before we dive into the semantics of the different OAuth grants, we should stop and discuss security, specifically the use of the state parameter. Cross-site request forgery. Hold on a second. My face rig is... Okay. State and security. Before we dive into the semantics, we should stop and discuss security, specifically the use of the state parameter. Cross-site request forgery or CSRF and clickjacking are security vulnerabilities that must be addressed by individuals implementing OAuth. This is typically accomplished using the state parameter. State is sent in the authorization request and returned back in the response, and should be a value that binds the user's request to their authenticated state. For example, state could be a hash of the user session code or some other nonce that can be linked to the user session, nonce being a number used once. When the user begins an authorization flow on the client, a state is generated that is unique to that user's request. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to generate the state and send something unique. This value is stored somewhere, only accessible to the client and the user, i.e. protected by the same origin policy. When the user is redirected, the state parameter is returned. The client validates the request by checking that the state returned matches the stored value. If they match, it is a valid authorization request. If they don't match, it's possible that someone interrupted the request or tampered with it. Yep. While Discord does not require the use of the state parameter, we support it and highly recommend that you implement it for security. Okay, so it's good to know it's optional. Authorization grant. This is the one workflow we want, so this is the only one we're going to read through. The authorization code grant is what most developers will recognize as standard OAuth 2, and involves retrieving an access code and exchanging it for a user's access token. It allows the authorization server to act as an intermediary between the client and the resource server, so the resource owner's credentials are never shared directly with the client. That's the whole benefit. They can log in without having to create an account or share their password or anything. Okay, so authorization URL example. I'm going to copy this and put it into our little note file that we're making just to track example OAuth URL. Client ID is your application's client ID. Scope is the list of OAuth 2 scopes separated by URL encoded spaces. And so we know already that our scope needs to be identify and email. And those are the only two we need. So we would replace the scope in the example that they did. Client. Let's break this up a little bit so we can read it. Okay, and so there's the scope, and they have identify and guilds join, but we want scope is identify and email. Mythic says John Hammond attempted to begin security with Go. Yeah, that's how. Well, I found he did 2 Go streams, and that's how I found him the first night. Was he was doing a Go stream, and it caught my eye, and I caught him while he was doing it live, and so I shared my book with him, and he did some of the book the second night. So, yeah, and I think it's really awesome that he did it. I'm gonna give him. I'll show his channel real quick. Well, I just wanted to show his channel. Yeah, so he's got a really awesome channel. He has a ton of videos that go back quite a long time, and it looks like there's the Go ones. They were pretty recent, and he did trying to learn Ansible, and a lot of his stuff seems to be related to CTF. I'm relatively new to his stuff. I about a week ago is when I found him, when he was doing this one. So good stuff there for sure. Okay, so going back here, we just looked at the example. Client ID is your application's client ID, scope is scope. Okay, redirect URI is whatever URL you registered, and we already registered a redirect URL. And here it is. This is the one we registered, so we could say redirect URI equals, let's use their encoding. So that's the : / Brendan Garcia says, hi, hello, welcome back. It's nice to see some regulars that like to come hang out and chat. It makes doing work like this a bit more enjoyable. You guys have good suggestions too. So our state needs to be something unique like that. Something impenetrably cryptographically secure like that. That's how you can do it. You just convert all your binary into a string of ones and zeros, and it makes it even harder to break. Okay, redirect URI is whatever you said. URL, okay. State is the unique string mentioned. Okay, so we know what all those are. We know how to fill them out. When someone navigates to this URL, they will be prompted to authorize your application for the requested scopes. Now this is where I had the problem, because when I would try the URL, it wouldn't work. And so I need to plug in my client ID, and I'll go double check and, get it fresh, hot off the grill. Client ID equals that. Okay, so I mean, this looks good. Our redirect URI is not working right now because it's not up, but that shouldn't matter yet. It should still work okay with that. Am I missing? Okay, so I'm gonna do copy this. I'm gonna try it out in the browser. It actually worked. I must have fat fingered something yesterday, because I kept getting an error on this page, but this is what we wanted. So this is great. I'm going to shrink it a little bit so we can see. So this is Social Auth is the name of the app that I created here. And so if you just go to Discord app, developers, applications, this is where you create a new application. I just created one. Yeah, so the other night we made a music bot, and we made an RPG Dungeon Master bot, and now we're working on this Social Auth integration. And so right here is where you get the client ID, and that's what you see here. And if it had an icon, it would show up right here. And so it's telling you what permissions it wants. It says, by doing this, this will allow the app access to your username and avatar, and it shows you what that is. So your username in Discord, and access to your email address, because those are the two scopes we provided: email and identify. And so you're like, okay, yeah, that's fine. It can have those to identify who I am. And it even says, very helpfully, this application cannot read or send messages on your behalf, because that's not in scope. So we say authorize, and then it's going to send us back to the redirect URL. And it's actually going to contain our secret code. So then we can, okay, now that we have our invite, our login URL basically working, and I'm gonna say this is our login URL. So now that we have that, I'm actually gonna go pop open our Django project from last night that we're gonna work on, and give PyCharm a minute or two to load up. It's been sleeping. It's got to stretch. Get ready. Okay, so here we made a setting for login URL, and now we can paste it in there now that we know it works. And now if we check out our app and we go to login, now we go to login. Now we've got this. Oh, let's see. Mythic says, I'm relatively bad at almost everything but JavaScript now. Now, do you mean Node.js doing backend kind of web services, or JavaScript front-end UI stuff? You used to do a lot of work with Lua and Python, but I stopped due to my primary studies. Yeah, I really like Python. It's usually my first go-to. Brendan Garcia asks, am I ever going to do a face reveal? Well, I have videos on the channel with my face, and my face is on the book, and so my face is around. I'm not trying to hide it, and you can look up my LinkedIn page and stuff, but so it's not that I'm really trying to hide or anything. It's just the face rig makes it real easy to go live every night without having to worry about, you know, getting extra cleaned up and looking nice and everything. So let's see. Where were we now? Log in with Discord. This is what we wanted. So you can log in or log in with Discord. Great. And now it says, yeah, you want to log in. And then you say authorize, and it's going to shoot them back to our website. But oh, you don't have to be sorry, Brendan. It's all good. It's a fair question. So let's see. Now we need to set up the actual redirect URL for it to handle. So do we want to make a simple Flask app, or do we want to go straight into... I want to do it with Flask first. I want to do a really simple lightweight one as a reference, and then move it into the Discord or the Django one. Face reveal is hiding in plain sight. Yeah, I do one every day when I scroll through and I tell people to buy my book, but it's subtle. You have to know where to look. I'm sneaky like a fox or a panda. A sneaky panda. Okay. Now I want to go back to this library's examples. Okay. Let's go back here. So on our box here earlier, right now I'm on the Minecraft box, minecraft.devdungeon.com. So it's actually a remote server, and we created a virtual environment and we activated it. And now I need to set up a quick HTTPS server. Yeah, here we go. And I think, do I have anything with SSL in here? I have this little shortcut with all of the... none of these have SSL. There's a way to set up a quick SSL server. I have some code somewhere, but we can do it without it. You guys won't hacksaw me, right? Where are we? I need 2 windows. I need to move this. Oh, thank you, menu, for going away. Okay. Let's move this over here. Oop. Okay, so we want vim OAuth test, OAuth test.py, and we have to do the Flask stuff. We'll do that in a second. Client ID equals... What's the R? I thought the R was... What the heck? Python R prefix on a string. When an R prefix is present, a character following a backslash is included. Oh. So like a raw string. A literal, string literal. So a raw string, I guess. I've never really... Okay. Client ID, let's grab that. Copy. Copy that. And then the client secret. Wait. Come back documentation. Client secret equals... I'll paste it in. How about that? We'll do getPass.getPass. Just so I can keep it secret for now. And then, oops, redirect URI equals, and we've got that here. Oops. Wow, this song sounded like Gangnam Style in the beginning. Yeah, I can see that. It kind of does. I didn't think about that. This is like one of the best songs I found on this this pretzel streaming service. And okay, we got all this. Let me go. Where are we? Documentation. Okay, so we set up the variables we need, and then we set up the scopes too. I guess it handles the scopes for us pretty nicely. I guess we're gonna have to trust it. We're gonna have to trust that it formats it for us. So the scope is what? Identify and email. We'll see if this works. OAuth2 session. Client ID redirect URI equals redirect URI. Scope equals scope. Okay, we'll say auth URL state equals OAuth.authorization URL. And then we're gonna have to pass it the base auth URL. And Discord gave that to us just a second ago. Here it is. Now, was that it, or were there more parameters? There's one more parameter. Access type? Wait. Yeah, no, those are Google specific. So that should be enough. And then we'll say, okay, so that's supposed to generate a link. Okay, so earlier we created this link based off of Discord's documentation, and we verified that when you go to it, it actually presents you with the login to this app page, and then it tries to redirect you. So we know how to manually create it if we need to. Now it looks like this library is going to construct it for us, and so we're going to see if it constructs the way it needs to. And so, what do they say? The login URL. Login URL is a string, and then we'll pass the auth URL to print out. Okay, authorization response equals input. Enter the full callback URL. Oh. I think that's when we can paste in the /me thing. But whatever, let's just see if that works. So I'm gonna write. Okay, let's see. I'm going to quit. I'm gonna write and quit. Then I'm gonna tmux, and I want to run it. So I want to activate my virtual environment real quick, and then run Python OAuth test. Oh, and the password is my secret, my client secret from my app. Copy and paste. Oh, of course, I need to import the library. So, requests, OAuth live now. Okay, there we go. Vim OAuth nest. So, from requests, OAuth live import OAuth2 session. That should cover us there. Now let's run it. And I'm gonna paste in my secret again. Name scope not defined. No, it's because I did scopes. And I should still have the same password. Okay, let's open link. And it works! Awesome! We can trust this library to generate a successful URL for us. Success. Mythic asks, any knowledge with driver manipulation, apart from reverse engineering? Not really. Not really with drivers specifically. I've written like a Hello World kernel module, and I've gotten a little bit into the Bluetooth stuff. At one point, I started messing around with Bluetooth and wired controller hacking. So, for example, the Wii Nunchuck. This thing here. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, so this has like the tilt sensors in it and the buttons and all that good stuff. And so I chopped off the wire and pulled out the wires and plugged them into an Arduino and tried to decode them, but you get back like I guess you said apart from reverse engineering, and reverse engineering is basically what I did to decode all that data. So that's probably the most driver related kind of thing I did, was trying to work with that and some Bluetooth stuff. So where were we? This library did generate a nice URL for us. And let's see, the scope equals identify plus email. And so did that work too? Let's see, hold on. Let's open the link and make sure, yeah, both the scopes went through properly too. So that's good, looking good, looking good. Now, let's go through some more with this documentation here. We're doing good so far. Okay. Now, where were we? We got the authorization URL, and then we need an endpoint that's listening. So here's the full web application. Okay. Mythic is asking cryptography. Gonna bet reverse engineering plays a part in this too. I actually, a long time ago, back in university, I got a couple NSA certifications in cryptography from taking some classes. I have a pretty solid grasp of cryptography in general. Not like flaws in the mathematical algorithms, but I understand how to apply it and use it regularly. And I have a real detailed chapter in my book about cryptography. And can I recommend anyone for learning reverse engineering or cryptography? Not off the top of my head, really. Sorry. Okay, so here's the example Flask App. So yeah, we're gonna kind of turn this into a Flask App real quick. So we need to import Flask. From Flask, import Flask, request, redirect. We'll need session as well, just like they're doing. And I don't. I don't know if we'll need that one, URL for, so we'll leave that one off for now. And from flask.json, import JSONify, I'm going to leave that one off too, because I don't know if we'll need that one yet. I want to keep it as simple as possible. And so we do have to create an app, but I'm going to do that down at the bottom. After all this is just going to be some setup, and this is going to be generate login URL, and then down here we're going to say Flask App, so we'll say new Flask App, app equals Flask, and we're just going to name it after the name of our file, which is, I guess, some standard practice. Time to learn Go. I think Go is a really great language, and it's really easy to learn. There's only 25 keywords. You can go do the tour on the website. I recommend that, tour.golang.org. And they even have it right in the browser, and you can run it. You can run it right in the browser. And so you just go through these arrows on the bottom, and they have a whole section here. So you start with the basics, and you just go through each section, and they teach you, like, this is how imports work, this is how exports work, this is how functions work, and you can play with it and run it. And so it eases you right into it. You learn everything, and it's, if you know any programming language at all, you'll breeze through it and you'll pick it up really fast. So I need to take a drink of water. Okay, gotta stay hydrated. So app route, we want to do one route, and that's our redirect URL. And so that was what, Discord OAuth. So let's route Discord OAuth to our function. And so we're going to create a function. We're going to call it OAuth redirect. And so we're going to say, we'll call it Discord equals, well, we already created the session, right? So let's reuse it. We created it up here, the OAuth object with the OAuth2 session. And so that should all be good. And, excuse me, we already got the authorization URL, but we didn't set a state. Oh, that's right, we did do the state here. So how do we want to do this? Well, the state's just in the URL, and it's even optional, so we don't have to worry about that. In our formal app, when we do it, we'll track it and make sure that it matches when it comes back. So here's the callback. And what do they do? So they create a new OAuth session, and they call fetch token. So we're going to want to do something similar. I do want to create a new one. So we'll call this one Discord equals a new OAuth2 session object, and same client ID, and state equals we still have that one, so, and I'm the only one trying it out now, so we'll go ahead and try it out. State equals state. What else do we need to provide? That's it. That's it for the object constructor. So then we need to get a token. So we're going to say fetch token, and we don't have the token URL yet. Yeah, we need to go get that from Discord, and they provide that to us in the docs right next to the authorized one. So let's go ahead and set that one up here. Token URL equals paste. Okay, now we have the token URL. Go back to the docs. And Where are we? No, this is the wrong page. This is where we were. And we were looking at the callback function, right? So we're fetching the token from the token URL. Okay, and the client secret needs to go. And the authorization response equals the request URL. And request is like a global that Flask uses. It's in some frameworks you pass request as the first parameter, but in Flask it's just kind of a global object. So then we've got a session. Wait a second. Where did session come from? At this point you can fetch protected resources, but let's save the token. Is that just a totally new dictionary? Whatever. Sure. Can we just print it? Print the length of the token. I don't think. Wait, is our token secret? Does that need to be secret? Yeah, it does. I don't want to share that really. We'll just make sure we get it by printing the length. And then we're going to redirect. So we're not going to redirect now. We're just going to end. We're just going to see if that part works. And does it? Does this look good? Am I missing anything on the Flask aspect? Because we just added in the whole Flask aspect of it, so I think that's okay. Let me create a new tmux window, and I'm gonna run this Flask app now. Running a Flask app. I forget the environment variable you have to set. Flask app equals OAuth test.py Flask run. Oh, I'm gonna need to install Flask to this virtual environment. Okay. Okay, I gotta paste my secret, my client secret. Okay, running. Oh. How do I tell Flask? Flask. Can I do Flask run help? Yeah. Okay, I want to specify the host and the port. Okay. Dash H and dash P. I'm gonna say I want to listen. I do want to listen publicly because I actually want to get the callbacks, and I want the port to be 8,000. Maybe I should put it over 9,000. I'm not ready for that yet. No. Okay. So there's our login URL. Let's open it. Let's hit authorize, and when we authorize, we should see something go on in our terminal. We should see it say, boop, got a token. It worked! I know it says internal server error, but that's because we didn't actually return a response to the web page. But yeah, I think that's my secret code that you guys shouldn't know. It's okay. You can cut. This is just a test app, and you can go revoke. You can go revoke all of the clients if you have to. Somewhere, I'm pretty sure. It's okay. I'm just gonna delete this whole app. But I swear there was a way to revoke all client tokens. Maybe that was on Discord, but it's okay. Unless you guys code up an app faster than me and start hackstoring my test account on my test server. But it worked. Okay, so that is good news. Let's go back to the other window. So where were we? We can just say like, okay, it worked. But we need to do something else. Now that we have the token, $10 for my book, pretty cheap. Depending, I'm not sure where you're finding it for $10, but if you can find it for $10, that's awesome. Oh, maybe it's the ebook version you're looking at. So now that we have the token, we need to do one more step with the OAuth. We have to do one more call, I think. Or can we just start using it? So let's see what they're doing here. OAuth2 session, client ID and token, and then you just do a get. Okay, so let's try it. And so what do we want to do? We want to do a get on Discord slash it's like /@me. What is it? We'll go find it. Okay, so in their docs, yeah, here we go. /users /@me. That's the URL we want to hit. We want to do a get on there with the code provided. Right? Or is there another step? Okay, authorization code grant, authorization URL. When someone navigates, they'll be prompted. On acceptance, they will be redirected. Right, we've already read through this. Access token exchange example. Exchange code. And post to the token and get the response. So yeah, we're already doing the pass to the token. So I think that's it. Okay. Having the user's access token allows your application to make certain requests to the API on their behalf. And that's what we're going to do. We're basically going to hit /user/me. And because we're using their identity to do that, when it returns me, it's going to be them. Restricted to whatever scopes were requested in scopes. Okay. To refresh, make another post. That's fine. Okay, so this is what we would do. That's a refresh token example. Okay, we can worry about that later. And so I think we're ready to do that. Now, what's the base URL? What's the base URL for the Discord stuff? If we go check out all the way at the top. Discord app. So is it /API /user /@me? API /user /@me. Now let's try something that. Okay. Yeah, so that's right. I'm not getting a 404. So we'll call this the base URL. And copy that over. And we'll put that up at the top as kind of a base Discord API URL. That's kind of a lengthy name, but I find it's always better to be more verbose than less verbose. And I already forgot what the variable name is. Base Discord API URL plus /user /@me. And then we're going to do... So we created an OAuth object here called Discord. So I'm going to do a Discord dot... What is it? A dot get? Let's refer back to the documentation. yeah, .get, and so when you do the .get and it does the HTTP GET with their stuff, it's already gonna have the session and the token and all that stuff ready, I think. No, you have to pass the token. Wait, not in the GET, only when you create. So, when you fetch the token, does it store it inside the Discord object there, or do you have to pass it again when you're doing the GET? It doesn't look like you have to pass it again. But they're passing the token in the creation. So do I have to create another one? That doesn't sound... We'll try it, we'll see. Okay, so URL equals the base URL plus that. And let's just see what it says. Okay, so we'll write that and then we'll go run it. Oh, I need to paste in my app secret. Go open the link, tell it I want to log in. Okay. Didn't seem to work. Now let's see. So this is, oh, derp. There's a return. There's a return right there. That's why it's not getting past complete lol. Okay. Now if we run it, I think I still have the secret. Now I'm gonna open link, authorize. Now it still didn't seem to work. Now what did I do wrong? So it's hitting our URL, and we're doing all this, printing URL equals base Discord. How's that? HTTPS Discord app? Okay. So I'm gonna try something here because I'm a little confused. So did I turn this off? Yeah. So they passed it to token in the constructor there. So maybe I do need to create a new one now that I have the token, because it doesn't seem like it saves it. Okay, let's try this again. Authorize. Okay, let's raise insecure transport error. OAuth2 must utilize HTTPS online. Doesn't, come on. Oh, I think it's my callback that it's complaining about. Okay, time to pop open the cookbook real quick. I'm pretty sure I have an example of TLS, of a real quick Python TLS server. So let's just open this. Let's open... Oh, I'm in the Python section. Where is it? Networking. Client server. SSL client, SSL server, SSL server. I'm trying to think, is there an easy way for me to wrap this? Can I do it real simple with uWSGI? I think I can just run like a uWSGI and like a tac. Yeah, I can. I think that's gonna be the best route. So yeah, I wanna create a key. Then you got to create a signing request and all that. I actually have so on my side I have like a self-signed cert tutorial. It's just got all the reference commands, and at the very bottom there's a single command. There's a single command you can run to just do all of it. It'll generate the key, generate the signing request, fill out the info, and sign it, and leave you with the certificate and the key. And that's all you should need to run a server. So with uWSGI, I'm not sure. Can I just pip install it? Oh, I can. I need a C compiler. Sudo apt install build essential. Is that what it's called? Yeah, okay, so let's install build essential real quick so it can do some C compiling. Okay, build essential is done installing, so we should now have all the C compilers and all the build tool chain that this needs, because we were doing the pip install and it was trying to compile some C packages. So let's see. So I think we can just do this and then it'll start serving the current directory. What? Oh, no python.h. So apt install, I think it's python 3-dev. Yep. That will install the development libraries, which is basically just the headers, which is needed to do the compiling. When it's doing the C compiling for this module, it needs Python headers. Okay, as soon as this is done, we can start up. So I'm going to go to a new window. And I'm going to call this one Run WSGI. I want port 8000, and it was certificate and private key. Okay. Wait. Okay. WSGI is done installing. Let's do uWSGI help just to make sure. Ooh, that's a big help screen. Okay. Less help. I don't want your help anymore. Thanks, WSGI, but I'll manage it on my own. Mythic says you gotta go. Hey, thanks for hanging out, man. It's good having you around. So let's try this run WSGI. unrecognized option dash dash HTTPS. Okay, Whizgy, I want your help again. Can I do a man? Yeah, there's no man pages for pip things. Whizgy dash help with less. Expand. There we go. It's a little better. Dash HTTP. Fast CG. Okay. Where's HTTPS? Or SSL? Jeez, there's so many options. And none of them stand out. Jeez, there's so many options. I'm going full screen. Okay. Is there any HTTPS? It's not mentioned. It's not mentioned anywhere. SSL? No. Now, that's confusing. To start the server using SSL, HTTPS support from 1.3. What version do I have? 2? Oh. Whizgy 2.0 SSL. Oh, this is the 2.0 documentation. Let's see. Use HTTPS socket certificate key. Am I using it wrong? Oh, I think I'm using it wrong. No. Whizgy tac master HTTPS 0000 colon port comma cert name comma key name. So what doesn't it like? Let me try looking for another example. What's the other one? G Unicorn? Brendan Garcia says, gonna have to sleep, sorry, bye, good night. Hey, good night. Thanks for coming by. It's good having you around. So dash HTTPS or HTTP. Do I need a support package for it? Dash HTTP socket. Do I need to do... I don't think this will fix anything now. So... yeah, that's interesting. Whizgy. Okay, let's do this. I want to run this one more time. I want to run it. I need to copy my secret, paste it in. Okay. So Oh, you know what? This might... Error in app, exception on. Come on, give me some more information about where it's happening. So this is all in the core. There we go. Line 25. And Vim our file. And line 25. Right here. Okay, so it's happening on the token. Yeah, so it's, I think it's complaining about the HTTPS. Can we ignore it? OAuth2 must utilize HTTPS. Alright, alright. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you, but I just wanted to test it out real quick. Famous last words, I suppose. So the other one was called GUnicorn, I think. Python WSGI HTTP server. Yeah, so you could do the same kind of thing, just oh, you know, do I need to pass it an app? Okay, hold on, one thing at a time. So GUnicorn, we're gonna try that one since this UWSGI is being, it's not being very nice. So we're gonna try pip install GUnicorn. Okay, that one installed. And then we're gonna do this should work because it's all WSGI, right? And it's gonna be OAuth test : app. That's what we named it. Okay, now GUnicorn-help. There we go. So it gives us some nice SSL options. So we just got to do -b for the bind address, and we also want, I saw them down at the bottom. Yeah, here we go. --key file --cert file. Okay, so we want GUnicorn run, but we also want -b 00008000 and -cert file cert and -key file is the key. Now, will that automatically go HTTPS? It did. Yes. Now, I think we might need to update our redirect URL though, because it's pointing to HTTP. So let's go here, modify, save. We will update our redirect URL here, and just in the code real quick. So redirect URI now has security. And what else? I think that's all we need to do there. Now we can run it. Pass in the secret. Paste. Okay, now I should go log in. Say yes. Connection is not secure. That's okay. That's just because it says error code Mozilla error self-signed cert, and it is a self-signed cert, and that's totally fine. Access denied. Okay, well, we made some progress. We didn't get the same error, which means we moved past. So now we have an error exception in line 25 fetch token. And the error was access denied. Okay. I'm gonna regenerate a secret. Hit authorize. Just confirm. Same thing. So RFC 6749, that's the OAuth stuff. Access denied error. On line 25. So it's on the same line. Fetch token, yeah, we got that. We got our secret. Authorization response equals request URL. Now let's go to their reference. Did I leave something out? So what are they doing? OAuth2 session. Oh, you know what I might not need to do here is because I was trying out this, creating a second session, but now that I did that, it's probably got a totally different session going. And so that's why it's not matching up. But it might also be my state. I might not have saved the state properly, but they did say that was optional. Okay, authorize. Invalid client error. Okay, so that's a step up. We're getting a new error. So we're at least making things happen. Invalid client error. Invalid client. Okay, that's probably because... Let's make sure it was on the same line. Line 25, yeah. So... Oops. So let's see. This is the callback. So they're doing it in different steps. Okay, so there is a session, and Flask is managing that for us. So we will save. Okay, yeah, let's kind of do it how they're doing it. So that's the token. We're going to say session Discord token equals token. And then we're just going to say thanks for logging in. Is it done logging in at that point? Because we've got the code, and that's all we need, right? But we're going to have to get their name and stuff. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create another one called app routes. We're going to do like they did, so /profile. Def profile, why not? And then we are going to create a totally new client. We're going to have to because it's a totally different request. So token is no longer there. It's going to be coming from the session. And that's going to be the Discord token. So let's print the URL, and then we're getting it right. So let's say we'll just see if we get it, and then okay. Let's try this out. Open up the login link. Authorize. This is still actually, at this point we should get something back. But it says access denied error. But it's on line 25. Okay, so it's still in the same spot. Line 25. Fetch token. Okay. The only thing that I'm really unsure about here is this authorization response equals request URL. So let me go back. The user has been redirected from the provider. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're receiving the callback, and we get the code. Right? So if we go up, we were getting the code before. And print, let's just say code received. And we'll print the length again. Yeah, so... Oh, it's because I changed the... Well, no, the client secret is coming in from... So token URL. Did I mess something up there? It was working earlier. At this point, you can fetch protected resources. No, you should note that OAuth2 works through the SSL layer if your server is not parameterized to allow HTTPS. The fetch token method will raise an insecure transport error. Most people don't set SSL on their server while testing, and that's fine. You can disable this check in 2 ways. Well, now they tell us. I guess I should have just R'd the TFM before I did it. So let's try it again, because it was actually working better without the HTTPS. So I think we do need to go here and update the URL again. We wanted to delete that, right? Okay. Let's look at the code again. And so what did we change? We fixed the HTTP thing. Well, let's just give it another shot now that we've changed that, and we don't need to run it with GUnicorn anymore. We can just run it like this again. Invalid syntax on line 32. And did I forget a parenthesis? Oh, I put a print inside a print because I like printing my prints. Okay. It should be better. Now we'll give it the secret. Running, give me my login URL. Let me log in. Access denied. So I was getting the token before. Is it up there somewhere? Now what the heck? Access denied error. Is my session info being stored properly? Or do I need to do it? No? Okay, hold on. Where's the state coming from? State. Oh wait. So they set the state in the callback and they set the token in the end request. Yeah, so... Wait a second. Okay, so the state is one thing that I didn't... State should be... Well, it's getting the state from here. And the only difference is they're pulling it from the session. And I'm just storing it as like a global. So let me there's no session if it's not inside a URL, I think. So unless it's like wrapped with the decorator like this, then there's no session in request, I think, that's properly set up. So let's do this. And now from here we'll do session state equals state. And then here on the redirect we will print the session state just to see if it's coming through right. And then state, so this state's actually going to be session state, like that. So let's try that. Okay, paste the secret. Okay. What happened? My app is not defined? Oh. I got a little too overzealous with my functionizing. And let's actually return. I think you can just return the text, so it would be href equals plus auth URL plus okay. So let's try this again. Let's run the Flask app. And then we're going to... yeah. Okay, internal server error. Session was unavailable because no secret. Oh, I need to set Flask set secret for session. Maybe that's what's been going on. So, did they set? They didn't do anything like that, did they? They didn't set any secret. Anyway, how do I do that? Flask set secret for session. Inside temp sessions. If you want to use sessions, do not use the cookies directly, but use sessions. Okay, let's see. In addition to the request object, there is also a second object called session, which allows you to store information specific to a user from one request to the next. Okay, so we just have to set app.secretKey. app.secret key up at the top. Okay, app. Let's see if that works. Do I still have it? I'm gonna... No, that's fine. I can just refresh my browser. Refresh. Success. Okay, so I should be able to log in with Discord. Authorize. Invalid client error. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back to their example. So where is it failing? Did it get through the authorized part? And do the... Okay, so that one's fine. Print session state, did it do that? Let's run it real quick. Oh, no HTTPS. Log in. Redirect. Oh, did it give me a different one this time? No. Okay, let me look this up and see if... I'm gonna verify real quick one last time with the... Let me get rid of this one. Okay, so we've got the landing page that generates the login URL, just like they've got. Step 2, user authorization. This happens on the provider. Okay, that happens, and then they hit our callback, and it's hitting our callback, but it's like when we're creating this new OAuth session, it is just really unhappy. Let's see if we even get to the object. Oh, let's see. Let me make sure I have the right secret. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe that's the authorization it's complaining about. Like, hey, you typed in your wrong password. Okay. That's all fine. We log in. Okay, now let's see what's going on. Okay, login URL, session state. Session state is stored, is being printed. Our OAuth object is being created. Okay. But then it errors out on line 34. Let's create a new one in Vimit. And go to line 34. Line 34 is line 33. So let's see. Token, Discord fetch token, token URL, client secret, and then authorization response. Again, that's the only one I don't really understand. So I'm gonna look up the documentation for this fetch token and see exactly what is this authorization response. The request URL is the current URL, which is the callback. So is it just saying like send it? Oh, you can run it with debug true. Maybe I'll do that. Okay. So let me Actually, what happens if I hit the profile page? Is it still running? Yeah, it is. Okay. Key error Discord token. So it's not storing the session. Session Discord token. Session Discord token. It's not saving. Well, what if I set it before it errors out? Let me try that. And restart. Repaste. Okay. I need to bookmark this login page. There we go. Log in. Auth. Local variable token reference before assignment. Oh, I must have moved stuff too much around. Yeah, okay. It's not getting set because it's not making it past this line here where it calls fetch token. Okay, so I wanted to see fetch token. Oh, look at the top. The top searches knew what I wanted, so I wonder if it's a common problem. Let's look for the documentation. That's OAuth1. I want the formal API reference. I want the dictionary. Okay. OAuth2 session. Can be used to create authorization URLs. Default. Okay, all good. Fetch token. Parameters, authorization response. Authorization response URL. The callback URL of the request back to you. Used by web application clients. Generic method for fetching an access token from the endpoint. So, alright, it's been almost 2 hours. I'm gonna take a short break. Stretch my back and get some water. And if you guys have been sitting down for a long time too, I recommend you do the same. So, I'll be right back. Give me less than 5 minutes. Hey guys, I'm back. Okay, I was getting a little stuck, so I needed to take a little break. It's good to stretch after you sit for a while too, of course, right? So we were trying to figure out why it was failing on this fetch token. And I'm not quite positive what's going on yet, why it's erroring. And so it was, it was working earlier. We were getting a code back, right? And so yeah, there's the code. I'm a little confused. I need to do some debugging here. And it'd be nice if I had all the PyCharm stuff. But we're on a remote server, and I didn't want to set it up. So yeah, it's not printing code received, but so it's getting the code. It's getting the code up here. Hold on, this is flustering my brain, so I need to do some debugging and get a sanity check going on. Token URL. We're gonna print token URL. Sorry, I gotta take a drink of water. Okay. What's going on in my other tmux window? Let's get you running. Let's pass you the secret. Where are we going? I need to go to the Discord, developer portal, to my app. You get the secret, there we go. Okay, now we can try and log in with Discord. Authorize. And error. Okay, so let's go up and see where it got. Okay, so we got session state, Discord, our OAuth session object, and the token URL. Maybe, does it need a slash at the end? Is it just something like that? Invalid client error. Invalid client. But what does it mean? How to avoid, let's just see. According to the given request, you should post accept. Oh. It did say it required the specific content type. So maybe that's why it doesn't like the client, but that shouldn't be the case because the library should take care of that. This OAuth library should already be taking care of that. So let's see, what if we tried to, maybe it's just the library being, let's see what they say here. Fetch step 2, we did step 1, we got the authorization URL. Do we, the scope is in there too, right? So the scope is part of this first OAuth object, which actually shouldn't go there anymore, we should put it here. Okay. OAuth equals new OAuth session with all our goodies, and that creates the login URL. Oh. So those look pretty much the same as they should. Session state equals state. So we're getting a state. And we're getting the auth URL. So there's, I mean, that part all looks okay. And then this is the callback we get. Now, let's see, print callback hit. I don't know what happened. What happened to my Vim? Hello? What's the button to stop being frozen? Okay, goodbye. Goodbye, Tmux window. No, seriously. Okay, how do you kill all your Tmuxes? Okay. I guess I can Tmux help? Kill all Tmux. Well, I guess I can do this. Yeah, so I want to kill 16772. Okay. Get back on the Minecraft server. Oh, I'm still on the Minecraft server. Let's see. Where are we? Why are you being so weird, program? Let's see. Where do I want to go from here? Oh, I was editing the file and I was trying to print out that extra debug statement. Delete it. Yeah, so I wanted to see exactly where it gets into here, so we'll say print callback hit. Get it running. Paste in the secret. Go do the login. And then authorize. Okay. So this is all the login stuff from the first URL. With the state, callback hit, session state, Discord, token URL. Interesting. You add a slash at the end and you get a 404. No slash, you get a 405. Okay. So the error then happens in our Discord OAuth on line 36 in the fetch token with an error of access denied. So some of the stuff we're passing it's not happy with. So here it is, fetch token, token URL, and that's okay. We got the right one there, I'm pretty sure. Client secret. You know, I could be messing that up. I could be like fat fingering that or something. And then there's the authorization URL. So actually I'm going to print that out just to make sure I understand what that is. So the request URL maybe it's sending 0000 or something weird that's not mapping back properly. So we'll print that out, make sure that does look good, because that's really the only thing I'm a little unsure about. Authorize. Wait, is that the same error I got before? Invalid client? No? I got access denied before. So, access denied was probably... I typed in... I pasted the bad token or something. But now I'm getting invalid client error. Now, why would I be getting an invalid client? And what was it, line 36? Invalid client. So my Discord object here that I created with this OAuth2 session, that, I guess that's the client that it doesn't like. So let's go back to their docs, see if we can find any clues here. 2, fetch an access token. So we've got pass the token, authorization response. Oh yeah, what was that? What was that value? Token URL, request URL. It didn't even get that far? It should token URL request URL. Request, okay, so that's yeah, I mean that looks okay. So I guess I have to pull the code from the query state, or is the library doing that for me? So I need the code. I need the code to get the token. This is starting to confuse me. Fetch token, you give it the token URL. And then the client secret. Token URL, client secret, authorization URL. Authorization response? Authorization response. Okay, I thought I might have typed in the wrong thing there. Did I miss anything in the login URL? I got the scope. Response type is code, that's fine. Client ID, scope is in there, state is in there. Okay, so here they're saying the full callback URL for the second step. Oh, what? So let me see. Is it because it's coming back to the same one? I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna try giving it like a specific minecraft.devdungeon.com 8000 / auth response. And then I'm going to create another one called, going by that, auth response. And then we'll just make a function to handle it. And we'll say auth response endpoint triggered. Okay, let's try this and see if this helps provide any insight into what's happening behind the scenes. Okay, log in with Discord. Okay, we are getting a different error, which is a good sign when we're doing troubleshooting like this. Okay, so happening in the same spot, but with a different missing code parameter and response. Oh, that's right. Okay, because we got the whole code. We do need to pull the code out and the state, right? So the URL is going to be what? And state equals plus session state. We're just kind of hacking this together right now. And code equals... Ooh, that's... request dot query. How do you pull the query parameters out? Flask request query parameters. Request args get args.get code, and let's print that out just to see. Print code. Alright, let's see if that works any better. Invalid syntax. Okay, where? I guess. Where is it? Where's the problem? Oh. It's on the line before. Alright. 333rd time's a charm. Invalid client error. Okay, so we're kind of back to where we were. Is it because somebody hack-sworded me? Code's coming through. So what is it missing? Let me go back to the Discord-specific documentation. So, Discord OAuth. Okay, so we got the authorization code grant. Redirect URL example. Code, okay, code is now exchanged for the user's access token by making a post to the token URL with the following parameters. Client ID, client secret, grant type, code, redirect URI, and scope. So this is happening. This is what it's trying to do, I guess, in this step, in the fetch token. Yeah. So it's this library is not. I mean, I guess it's the library. Is it the library, or is it a problem with our setup somehow? Yeah, so they should have all the right headers set. You know what I could try? A different app. I could try GitHub or something, because I've done GitHub and it worked really smoothly, and I'm wondering if, like, maybe I'm missing something on the way I'm supposed to set up the app here, and the code's actually fine. So, like, I mean, all this looks fine, right? Yeah. Okay. What now? What's the best way to move forward here? So, I was thinking about a couple options. We can ditch this fetch token and we can try and do it ourselves, or we could try with a different app, or we can look at more reference code and compare to see if there's anything that we might be leaving out. So we do the authorization part, get the code from the callback URL. We're doing that part too, and it's this fetch token we're having problems with. Now this object is being created. Let's see. Do I need to do the scope again? Is that part of... Because I created that in the first client, but not the second one. So maybe that's why it's kind of complaining about the client. So let's see. A little bit of shooting in the dark at this point. Any clue that is revealed through this debugging process is going to be helpful. Invalid client error. I wish it would give me more information. Invalid client error. Let's Google that. No, it's not a website. I saw there was some all caps in there. Must not. Oh. Wait. Yeah, all I'm getting is invalid client, invalid client. The client must not use more than one authentication method in each request. Yeah, that one's not. No, there was a... Yeah, let's check out a couple examples real quick. Okay. Facebook compliance fix. Okay. Authorization URL, get that, you go to that. Fetch token, you pass it to token URL. The client secret, you know, maybe is the client secret not accessible in that scope? It should be, right? Let's see, is that the only place it's used? It is. I'm gonna try this, just to make sure there's no scope problems. I'm thinking, is there anything else? This all looks... This is the problem, is the fetch token. The fetch token is breaking. And I am creating a new OAuth2 session. So I am creating a second one, and I am doing it different because I have to create a new one in a different request, but you know what, maybe I can make it like a global... No, because the state needs to be unique for each one. So that can go in there. So we've got the landing page that generates the authorization URL and sets a state for the user. We've got our callback that does pull the session we verified, and it does create this client. This is the part I said was happening differently. See, I don't think we need this, but if I'm trying to figure out what is going on differently between them. Again. Okay, now it wants my secret. You can have my secret. Okay. I didn't get a million errors. It worked? Did that... what happened? I'm really confused now. Authorize. It's thinking. Oh, because it's waiting for my password again. Okay, you get it quickly before it all times out. Success, you work. Now what happens? It worked! Thanks for logging in. Okay, what did I change? Oh god, sometimes programming just feels like this. You just like move blocks around until it works. Okay, so I moved OAuth out of the global, and what I did was, okay, I added the redirect URI to this second client that gets created. Okay, if I go to /profile now, oh, did I stop it? Okay. Launch it. Now, I should still have my session? No. Because it... this is looking pretty good now. So let's see. Print response .text. Okay. Or body. Is it text or body? I think it's text. Okay. Let's try it again. Yeah! Yeah! It's a good thing. Excellent. Excellent. It's working. Folks, your cam is with FaceRig. Yep, I am using FaceRig. WATH? You saying what? Or WATA? But welcome. We just hit an important milestone. We finally worked out all of the weird quirks with our code. We finally have it working. We finally have it working. And look, it only took 50 lines of code. 50 lines of code in 2.5 hours. Okay. Let's start cleaning this up now that we have something that works. Yeah, so that's the only URL we want, and it's actually JSON, so we can handle all the JSON later. Like, we can say JSON data equals JSON.load string response.text. And then we can, printing the JSON data should be pretty clean. And we'll have to make sure, import JSON. Majake's video asks if I can be Donald Trump. There is a free DLC that has Donald Trump, and I downloaded all of the free DLCs. So they actually have like the Scout. They have all the Team Fortress characters. But they have a Donald Trump. Look, they've got a Hillary Clinton, who's just like, these are the, and the Donald Trump, they're just like hideous. They're so hideous. So, we're going back to the panda. I hope I didn't scare everybody away with that face. Okay. So... And what? There's like the username. JSON data. Username? We'll just say ID. Okay, let's see if this works. This should be pretty solid. And I'm feeling pretty good about it. Okay, so we have our session already. Awesome, so now we can pull all the profile information. We are in business. Okay. So, look at that. What I'm going to do here is copy this down and save it as reference code. So let's see here. I want to SCP Is it do it? Yeah, it is. So with Z Shell, you can do autocomplete through SSH. You can be typing out an SCP command and do the tabs, and it will like automatically connect and like try and figure out. Sometimes it's a little slow though. Yeah, it's like locked up my console. Okay, I want an SCP from my remote server. Oh. It probably couldn't because that didn't exist. So yeah, see, I'm doing this through SSH. And copy it down. Having autocomplete through SSH SCP commands, it's really nice. Okay, so let's open up... Let's use Visual Studio Code because I'm just doing some quick text file editing. I don't want to do full-on Python project right now. So I copied it down. OAuth test, there it is, OAuth test.py. So I'm gonna make a new folder called should I call it Flask Discord OAuth login? Flask Discord OAuth example. We'll just call it Discord OAuth example. Flask isn't the important part, it's the Discord OAuth. And I'm going to put this in there because I want this to be referenced, so I'm going to call it Discord OAuth login server. Something like that. I know it's a really long name, but I need it to be helpful in the future. Okay, so let's clean it up, and actually I don't want it in here. I want to open it in Visual Studio Code. So let's just drag and drop the file. Now we've got some good syntax highlighting. And all I want to do is clean it up and commit it to GitHub so we have a nice example. Flask generate secret key. Someone had a nice secret key. There was an example where they had a function to do it. Yeah, urandom. I mean, it's not the end-all be-all, but it's better than hard coding one there. So we already got that, and this will disable SSL requirement, and then So that can stay. The client ID, you need to get that from the website. So get that from there. Client secret, we can whatever, we can leave it as it is. Well, let's try it like this again. Redirect URI, I can leave that in the repo, that's not going to be too bad. And I do want to pull this one out. So, authorize URL is going to go there. And I'm going to rename this one to login URL, because that's more accurate. Okay, so we've got a home that just presents a login with Discord link. Discord OAuth, we can rename this one to OAuth callback, so it's a little more clear. Okay, yeah, we don't need to print out any of this stuff anymore. Actually, we can leave this. Hey, kid, is what See a Human says. Hello, See a Human. Welcome aboard. We got some successful social login going on with our Discord. Let's see. We're just cleaning up some code so we can push it as a reference, so we can all enjoy some nice example of, let's see, example of using Discord OAuth to allow someone to log in to your site. The scope of email plus identify only lets you see their email address and user ID, basic user ID. See Human says, how's your day? My day's going good, thank you. Let's see, we've been going about 2 hours and 40 minutes. And I've gotten a really important piece done, and that is squaring away all the little nuanced details with getting the Discord social auth logged in. And so after I clean this up, I'm going to push it up to GitHub. We're going to run it a couple times, or just, run it once, make sure it's nice and stable. So Disso Head says, I'm in Discord on Voice Lobby. Awesome. I don't think there's anybody in there right now, but have a blast. Welcome aboard. Okay, so we're just cleaning this up, and we'll make a comment. This just presents the login with Discord URL. Okay, that's all that one does. This one is our OAuth redirect. Let's rename that to just callback to match. Okay, so the callback specified. The callback we specified in our app. See Human says, do you ever use Windows? Yes, I use Windows. I'm actually running this in a virtual machine on Windows. I do like to game. I like to play StarCraft 2, and I can only do that on Windows, and I like Windows. And nothing against it. I mean, I do have some things against it. I do have some issues with it, but it is a good desktop. It's a good desktop. I can't deny that. But I like Linux too. Depends on what I'm doing. So I use a Mac too. I use Mac, Windows, and Linux all every day. all of them every day actively. So let's see. Cleaning this up, code, you can say, actually, we don't even need the code, right? Because we're just using it the moment the callback is hit to get the token and set the token in the session. But, oh, you know what? So let's see here. To do try with request.uri again. So one thing I did when I was trying to fix this was debug some things, and I want to undo a couple of the things I did, but it's all working right now and it's in a good state. That's why I'm trying to clean it up, save it, commit it as a reference, and we can all benefit from that. See a Human says, I like to play League of Legends and Fortnite and a lot of role-playing games. That's cool. I played a little bit of League of Legends. If I'm going to play a MOBA, I do like Heroes of the Storm. That one's pretty fun. Fortnite, never really played and got into that. I did play some PUBG and some of that Royale. And I like role-playing games too. The other day we created a role-playing bot. Role-playing game bot for Discord. So if I go to GitHub, Dev Dungeon, you can see some of the projects we've been working on lately, and we did a Discord music bot. We did a Discord bot that notifies when Minecraft activities going on our server, our Minecraft server. We did a Discord RPG bot, and basically right now all it does is give you 1 experience point for every message you send. So that's kind of the basic framework that is set up. Okay, so let's see. What are we doing? We're cleaning up the code here and adding some comments. Because this stuff can be tricky. I mentioned, like, OAuth is simple, but it's also really complex. Like, there's a lot to it, and it's kind of confusing, but, you know, in the end, look, we did it in just a few lines of code at the end of the day, but you gotta get it just right. Okay, so code received. Thank you for logging in. I guess we could say, like, thank you for granting us authorization. Thank you for granting us authorization. We are logging you in, and you can now visit /profile. Yeah, we'll go with that. So behaves at least somewhat like an app that's functional. And so this is the callback, and what does it do? It processes the code given to us by Discord and sends it back to Discord requesting a temporary access token for the user. For a temporary access token, so we can make requests on behalf as if we were the user. E.g. the /me, where is it? Here it is. E.g. /me. And I'm gonna go ahead and copy the base URL. Oops. Just for the sake of this comment. Yeah. So we hit that URL, the @me, you know, users me, and what we get back is their user information. We are essentially hitting the Discord API as if we were them, because they granted us the authorization to do that. And then the token is stored in a session variable, so it can be reused across separate web requests. And then the auth response, yeah, this we didn't even need that. That was completely unnecessary. I was trying to debug there. See a Human says, you make tons of bots. I'm trying to make a moderation bot. So a moderation bot shouldn't be too challenging. I have several tutorials, so I don't know how familiar you are, but if you go to Dev Dungeon, then you can go, there's some tags. If you could find the Discord tag, there's tutorials on doing it in JavaScript, making bots in Discord, Python, how to use webhooks too. I don't specifically cover doing moderation stuff, but if you do those, it shouldn't be too much of a stretch for you to figure out how to do the moderation after those tutorials. Okay, so where were we? We were almost done cleaning this up. I have one more function I want to kind of clean up. So this is going to be like an example profile page to demonstrate how to pull the user information once we have a valid access token after all the OAuth handshake, after all the OAuth negotiation. And so all we have to do at that point to use it in subsequent, like if we want to use this anywhere else in the app, we would create a session like this and we just pass it our client ID and the token for the user. And then we just hit the URLs. And that's it. Like, this is how you use it. So that was some pseudocode I kind of typed out there. And so let's clean this up quite a bit. We'll do response dot, because it's requests, I think we can just do like that, and we don't even need the JSON package here. Okay. Settings for your app. Some Flask setup, and then our three functions. And that is how you do, let's see, how many lines of code are we looking at? If we kind of, we still got a bunch of comments and stuff, but that's okay. 63 lines, 62 lines, even with all the comments and, half of it's configuration. So, if you really look at it, it really is only a couple lines of code to get it going. Like, you do this, you do the first, you get the login link, and then you handle the token. It took us 3 hours to get to this nice refined point though. So I'm gonna leave the request.uri. Okay, hold on. This line of code is way too long. Way too long line of code. Go home, line of code. You're way too long. Okay, so what I want to do here is I'm going to comment that one out. And I'm going to try and set this one back to just being request.uri. Like that. And we can... Okay, I want to try this code out. This should be nice and stable and solid. Actually, one last thing I want to change. This. Okay. Okay, this is looking beautiful now. Okay, I'm going to test it out, do a little bit more cleanup, and then I'm going to push it to GitHub. And then I'm going to work on the Django part. So, where am I? I want to... Oh, we made a new folder, didn't we? It's called... where is it? Discord OAuth example. There it is. See, Human says, I see you have 1K subs. Congratulations. Yeah, thanks. I just hit it the other day. Actually, when you hit 1,000 subs is when you can start monetizing your videos. So it's actually like under review right now. You actually have to have 4,000 watch hours in the last year too. So people have to actually watch your videos, and you have to have 1,000 subs. Okay, so I want to push this. Oh, one more thing I want to put here is how to launch it, how to run it. That'll be really helpful in the future. Actually, we could just do app.run down at the bottom, right? Like that. We can say if name. Oh, pardon me. If name equals main, then app.run. I'm pretty sure we just do like that, so we don't have to do it. But we could also say or like this, and this is called OAuth login.server, whatever. Okay. Or run like this. Okay. Let's give this a runaroo. Let's push it up to the server first. So we're gonna push it up to our Minecraft server. Done. Now it should show up here. Now if we just run it, oh, we have to, let's source that VM. Okay. Now let's try running it. Gotta enter the secret real quick. Copy that, put it here. Oh, I need to tell it where to listen. Okay, Flask App run method. Just need to tell it in the run command. I need to tell it the host name, but I need to look up what. Yeah, here we go. Host equals blank, port equals blank, and let's turn debug on. Because why not? This is a testing server, right? So we'll go with, in my example, 0000 because it needs to be public, and integer. Yeah, we'll go with integer. Okay. Now, I have another terminal open that I'm using. There we go. Repeat, push it back up. Let's go to the other window and run it again. Paste in the secret. Ooh, okay. So if the terminal, sometimes it does the auto copy if you select anything, so I'm trying to be real careful, try not to select anything. Wait. Why did it restart? What was that about? Paste. Oh, because it's on debug mode. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna turn off debug mode. Let's leave it on default. Push it up. Run it. And paste. Okay, now let's try it out. So we go to our /, we log in with Discord. We say yes, I will grant it access to my email. Oh, the redirect. We broke the redirect. Okay, gotta, let's see. This will only take a second. Redirect URI equals, what do we name it? OAuth callback. OAuth callback. And I think we'll probably need to fix that one too. Save changes. Okay. That looks good. Let's push and rerun. Give it our secret. Go log in again. OAuth callback. Let's see. Request has no object URI. Python request URI. So that was the example they gave us. Now, right? Authorization URL, redirect URI equals redirect URI. Wait. Request has no object URI because we're using it. Now that's how they had it in the example, right? So I'm going to pull up their example real quick. Redirect response. Let's see. I was looking at their full web. Oh, I bookmarked it, I think. No, wrong one. So trying to find the reference I was using before here. Something like this. Here, this is the one. Equals redirect response. Redirect response equals. Okay, Python requests get URI request object. I need the request object reference. Okay, here's the docs. I want the requests. Oh no, it's Flask. What am I thinking? It's the Flask request object. Flask request.url. Okay, I think I just it should be URL, not URI. I'm sorry, it should be URL, not URI. Request.url. I think that was it. So let's rerun it. And log in real quick. Let's see what happened. Invalid client. Yeah, so it let's see here. This was the thing that I had the problem with before, was this authorization response. And when I made it myself, like that, it worked. But I'm gonna do a print request.url. Oh, well, let's see. So I need to fix. Oh, you know what? I did send it to that other page. So yeah, so I did do the app route auth response. So let's say print auth response triggered. Like, does that ever actually happen? And we'll just say return. Okay. I'm gonna give that a shot. Okay. Let's see if this works. And log in. Okay, same thing, invalid client error. Now what else? Did we change anything else? Actually, the only other thing I changed was this. Was this. And I thought it might have been a scope problem. So let's see. Now what happens if... Okay. Good. Good. A different error. An error that I kind of expected to get there. Okay, it's hanging. It wants my password. Invalid client error. No, what happened? Wait, we still have the stable working one, right? I want to make sure we didn't mess up that one, right? Okay, so this one should still work, okay. And we're gonna go, just make sure. Oh. Okay. We're gonna... Oh, you know what? I think it's because our redirect URLs are still out of date here. /discord OAuth. So let's add another one. Save. So we'll allow both of those. Okay, so now... Wait. Is it still... I need to run it. Okay. Run, log in. Okay, it wants my password. Hold on. Now why is it not working? This is the one that I didn't even touch, right? Oof. Now, this was working. This was the one that was working. Making sure. /discord OAuth. /discord OAuth. Okay. Give it a fresh run. Fresh login. Waiting for the password. That's okay. Hold on. Okay, we're back. We're back in business. Yeah, should give me a little anxiety after spending all that time tinkering with it and getting it working. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that one as it is because we're still working on cleaning up this one. Oops. And what did I change? Was auth response ever triggered? Auth response wasn't ever triggered. So if we go back in, now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to say dot stable. Okay. Okay, now the problem. Okay, this problem here. Is it a problem? Let's try authorization response equals request.url. And didn't we print it out? So let's see what the contents actually say too. And for here, I'm going to comment it out. Okay. Okay. Log in. Authorize with the password. And an error. Okay, so yeah. Something about that. Oh wait, okay. Now what did it print out? Because we asked it to print out the request URL. And what's different about it? It doesn't have the scope. That's it. Okay, it doesn't have the scope. What else? Auth response. Wait. So I'm gonna try copying that line, and I'm gonna change it to back to, well, this one. And run it. Log in. Copy. Invalid client. Invalid client. Okay, so if I go back to this one, okay, run it, log in with the password, client error. Am I typing this in wrong? Okay, authorize, and then here I'm going to say copy very carefully, paste. No error. Okay. So maybe the other one did work, it was just a problem with my pasting in. Okay. Okay. So what if I do request.url plus and code equals plus request.args.getCode? Because that's all it was missing, right? I'd like it to be pretty generic. Okay. That did work. And it was just the code that was missing. Right? So if we go in here and we just comment it out, try it again. Now if we go, I'm anticipating the same error that I got before to happen. but not. You know what? Okay. I think a lot of my problem was that my pasting in the password was not doing well. Okay, let's delete the end of the line. Okay, so let me go back here into this stable, or the final version that I'm working on. And so this was okay, right? That didn't seem to pose a problem. And we actually didn't need this whole auth response. And so now, let's see, now we should be able to just run this one. Log in. Okay, and it worked. Method is not subscriptable. Oh, the problem there is that it's a function, and so I have to add the parentheses. Yeah, so on the requests objects, it comes with the JSON function, so you don't have to use the JSON library separately. Okay, that's looking good. And I want to go back here, fix this last thing, and then we're like 99.9999% done, right? Oh. Okay, let's see if that works. No, I think let's see, invalid client error. That was definitely a bad paste. And it's like, okay, there's 3 ways to paste in Ubuntu, and sometimes they behave differently. There's Control-Shift-V, there's Control-V, there's Shift-Insert, and there's right-click paste. And right-click paste seems to be the most reliable one. See, now it worked. And now we can visit /profile. And we're pulling the user info properly. So booyah, booyah, kasha, as Ali G would say. Okay, so we're gonna do one final look through. There's nothing too secret, and we know this works though, so I'm actually gonna copy this one to be stable just for now, just till I get this into GitHub and we have like a real stable version for real. Okay, so actually I'm gonna do it here. Okay, settings for the app, all this looks okay. We got our login, OAuth callback, that's working just fine as it is. Can delete that, delete. And why not, let's try and make this a link. Ahref equals /profile /a. Okay. Example profile page. We'll print the ID. Yeah, just like that. That looks good. Let's give it one more run. Just to 800 billion quadruple if check it. Go through the login process. Thank you. Now you can visit profile. Go to profile and bam, bam. Got the user info. And we can print the email and stuff too. We got the whole user object. And I'm going to link to the user object reference too. So we got Discord user object. And user structure. I want a direct link right to the user structure. So if we open a new tab, it goes right there, and you got all the fields: ID, username, verified, question mark, email. Okay. Okay. Oops. And where did I want to put that? Yeah, here. Okay, I'm very satisfied with that now. Okay, copy that file down and push it into there. Now let's replace it. Okay. The only thing I'm going to do here is take out my client ID. I'm going to generalize this, review it one last time, make sure there's nothing like specific to my stuff. This all looks good. I'm happy with this right now. So what I want to do, yeah, I want to open the whole folder that it's in. That's better. I want to add a README, and I'm going to say Discord OAuth social login with Flask example. Isn't that a really memorable name? And let's see, so this is a simple example demonstrating how to use login with Discord feature. And I'm going to link to the stream just in case people want the 4-hour background into how we got to these. How many lines of code is it? 73 lines of code. It's like less than that. Live stream of coding this app. We'll go ahead and make it a title. Okay. Usage. First, update the settings in the top of the file. Then run with Python Discord OAuth login server.py. But you also need to install prerequisites, and that is pip install Flask and requests underscore OAuth live. Let's see, pip list. It's Flask and it's requests OAuth live. Okay, that looks good. I am going to commit this. Git init, git add, git status. No, let's do a git ignore. And let's add the VS Code directory because I don't want to print. I don't want to store any of my editor settings. Stable example. Okay, now let's go to GitHub and create a repository real quick. New repository under Dev Dungeon with a name of Discord OAuth login example app using Flask, showing how to let's see, example Flask app showing how to use login with Discord feature. Then we just copy the URL. We say git remote add origin and the URL. Then we just say git push origin master. Oops. And it's all good. And now it should all show up here. And our README file is rendering beautifully. We've got some tips. We got a link to the live stream just in case they want the whole backstory. And we got a nice working example. So I'm really happy we got this working. So we are now successfully able to have someone log in using Discord. Now the next step is to integrate it back into the Django application. But right now I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I'm going to go stretch my back and get some water, and if anybody's out there watching, you guys should do the same. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. So just hang tight, I'm going to play a little music, and I'll be right back. If my music player doesn't freeze up, that is. Come on back, music player. I think we're good. I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to do a little bit of Django integration, or at least explore what we should do there. So I will be right back. Alright. I'm back. So let's see what we've got here. We just finished setting up an example of how to use login with Discord. Took us a while to get that all sorted out, but now that that's squared away, we can apply this to any application we want. And what I want to do is apply it to Django, because the other day, yeah, we created. I'm gonna go delete this app. So, cleaning up all my browser windows and everything, let's kind of gather our wits and see, get kind of a grip on things now. It did take longer than I expected, but it's very satisfying to have it done now. And this is going to be super, super valuable as a reference. So what do I want to do this? So there's a couple important pieces, right? If we're going to port this over to Django, all of this stuff can go into a settings file. So that's no big deal. And we know how to define endpoints, and we only need 2 endpoints. We only need 1 endpoint. I mean, truly, because we can craft this login URL. Well, I suppose what will happen is they'll hit this URL and we'll redirect them. Though the state is optional, I do want to keep it, and we should keep it, so we'll have like a /login with Discord that will set the session before shooting them off to the login URL. And then we'll have the callback. And that's it. Like, that's all it's going to be. And we could literally copy and paste that. We will have to pull the session variable might be a little different, but and the request.url will have to change, but that's it. And then we can store the session again. So okay. So let's go back to our app. I would like to, in our Django app, let me close out all the windows. So in our Django app we have, or in our Django project, we have a couple apps, which are the little modules, right? So we have the authentication one, which I actually want to break into a couple pieces. Now, there's a registration section that we added, but I want to break that apart. And then we have the website, which is just the template. I think I want to create a totally separate app to do the Discord login. So I think we're gonna have to save that for another night. We've been going for about 3.5 hours tonight, and I think this is a big milestone. And having this working is really fantastic. And from here, again, it should be really easy to apply. But what I'm going to do is sleep on it, thinking about how I want to integrate it to Django. And so this is an application that has got the examples of how to do authentication, right? So I want the authentication app, I want the registration app, and I want the login with Discord app to all be separate, because I may want to use one piece of those by themselves. I could potentially use the authentication by itself without the registration, and in that case it would be like a site where an admin has to create you an account, and there's no self-registration. Not all sites have self-registration. It could also be the case where there's no registration because it's all done with Discord login. So if everybody logs in with Discord, then there's no need for a registration page, because they just log in with Discord and it kind of registers them as they log in. And you may use it without the authentication app at all and just use the core one as it is completely. So that's how I want to break that app up. And then I'm going to be really happy with the Django authentication example. It'll have customized authentication. It'll have customized registration. It will support social login, like Discord and other ones. And it'll be great. So I'm really looking forward to integrating those two. But for right now, I'm going to call it a night and say I'm satisfied with having this Flask app as a nice solid reference on how to log in with Discord. So, appreciate everybody who hung out and chatted tonight. Everybody that stopped by. It was awesome. If you're not already on the Discord server, go to devdungeon.com and click on the Join Discord. Come hang out and sign up for subscription and notifications if you want to get more. Do some more social coding. And otherwise, keep coding. Have a good night.